It's me, Niambi Shalee. Um, Welcome to my channel, and I want to thank you for stopping by to watch me ramble. Bars. No, but man, I'm geek today. Like I am geek today. I literally had this lined up um for last night, and I was like, after I came back from my buddy house, I was like, I want to get up there, but I like the daytime videos. This light honey is just I just it's better in the daytime. Um, so my the title of this video today is Pastor versus Fake Gods. Um, we ended off on the Crystals Part 3 with basically a story, a brief snippet about me meeting up with this person who invited me to her church. And for those of you who, first time here, don't know what this platform is about, I went through my spiritual awakening. I realized that I had my dark night of the soul, and I broke through. Um, so quick disclaimer: this is not to stop anybody from going to church. This is not to have people pick up spirituality. Because number one, there has been, you know, people use both to do some devious things. So people have used religion to do devious things as well as spirituality to do devious things. My plight is to ask you to go within and have a personal relationship with your spirit, and hopefully you have a breakthrough and realize how powerful you are with you know with the power of the divine, with the power of source, with the power of God, with the power. You are so powerful because you are an extension of God source. God power, God strength, God speed. It's like, if you can understand that there is nothing that you have done wrong, there is nothing that you can do wrong in the eyes of this source that creates worlds. If you can get to that point where you realize God does not judge you, that the divine, I use those words, I use divine, source, God. You can call it what you want, but there is a force behind you, around you, in front of you, that is guiding you and wants you to connect. And once you touch that power, there's no way that you can that you don't feel it, see it, and live with it and move with it. So, like I said, not trying to stop anybody from going to church, but I had this. This came from a story that I told a lady who was trying to get me to go to church, and I was being nice at first, and I remained nice, but I had to use that face that we use to let people know that you're serious. Um, this all started from me having my spiritual awakening, going back, realizing that spirituality taps into a lot of biblical things. And so, like, for instance, connectivity, that you're connected to everything, everybody. You're connected to all living things. That every living thing is important, and so are you. And um, speaks about meditation, which in the way that they describe meditation is quieting the mind, um, being cognizant of what you're thinking. Don't think negative thoughts. Don't think low vibrational thoughts. When you find yourself having a low thought about yourself, or and mostly it's about ourselves, because usually when we think about other people, we say it. Even if we don't say it to that person, we say it. You might go home to your mate and be like, I cannot stand. So usually we say, if it's another person or another thing or something, you don't have a problem. But it's a lot of times we don't say these things. We say negative things to ourselves about ourselves. And so we think negative thoughts about money. We think negative thoughts about our status in life. We think, have we gotten far enough? We think that uh, we have a spirit of lack. Like, I'm always, I don't have what I need, and we always have what we need. We always have what, and once you break through, you realize, man, you get to get what you want now. Because God is not restrictive. God is not going to, punish you. The punishment is in breaking of universal laws. So if you treat somebody wrong, you do something wrong, you have the and wrong and right aren't even really the words. It's just like you get back, and I guess I'll say it like that. You get back what you put out, and so it's not, God is not doing anything to you. You have to kind of go back in your head and, like, either have I been thinking this or have I did this to somebody, you know. So yeah, had a conversation with a woman trying to get me to go to church, and I was kind of telling her, gave her the face, had to eventually give her the face, like, no. And I had to kind of tell her why, because I snapped at her. And ooh, okay, I'm not taking that out. This is real life. Okay, so I kind of snapped at her, and it wasn't a mean snap. It was, she was like, you need a church home. You should really come out and fellowship with us. And I'm like, no. And because I saw why I was never able to break through with Christianity. I saw why I was never able to break through uh, with religion, because there are distractions. There are so many other things coming at you. Even with the judging, the the phony people, the sister such and such, and it's so many different things. The choir team, the choir, the liturgical dance team, uh, all of these things. How they say, you're not supposed to have rituals, but coming to church every Sunday is a ritual. It's become a ritual. Having communion every first Sunday is a ritual. That's a ritual. And so it was hypocrisy at its finest to me. It was like, man, you've been following a particular pastor for so long, and then you realize, like, look at him. No matter what it was that person did, it's like, and then realizing now there's no judgment. We just got to understand that people are people. And I say pastor versus false gods is because people tend to put the pastor on a pedestal. People tend to put the pastor on, well, he's, kind of like they do priests. And it's like, that's not even, no, that's a man or a woman, and that person has the right to live their lives the way that they want to. They have the right to do the things that they do the way they want to. But because they have a congregation, now congregation say, you need to be doing this, you need to be doing that. And so they live these fake, phony lives to give their congregation, that facade. And then Bam. Now we got a scandal. And had you not put that person on a pedestal as a false god, you wouldn't be so disappointed because you know what you have been doing yourself. But what pisses most people off is, man, he had a good mask. And so having my breakthrough and going back realizing that spirituality is so biblical, I had to go back to the word because I was like, I can get more out of the word, the book, the Bible, than I can from a pastor because um I felt like some interpretations was just way too far. Um Briefly, if you don't know what is rant or where my whole channel started from, was I heard a pastor or two talk about burning sage and using crystals. And for those of you who don't know, I'll probably say it every video until I got thousands and then they know my backstory. But I um I started to go. I mean, I haven't been to church since I was 18. So I started to go back to this word because my people, my friends, everybody that I was around who were Christian were real, real strong. And like they wasn't playing. And I was just like, ooh, okay, they must have found the power that I found. So let me go back and get the word because it can give me a deeper understanding of my spiritual awakening because it was such a connection to being biblical. And so I realized I'm not about to read the whole Bible. So I can listen to a pastor to give me this verse and then I listen to the sermon and then in listening to that, I was able to discern the fluff. I was able to discern he's performing. I was able to discern that's fluff. And so I go back to the story of Moses, and the story flat out, it's a Moses is a long story, but this particular part of the story was Moses was leading them, and they were complaining after being released and all of that, and were in the desert wandering around, and they were complaining, and basically, Pastor goes, the when God sent snakes to them, that how you treat the pastor is a direct representation of how you view God. And that was the fluff. The sermon was like going so good. Like I was like, I was feeling like everything he was saying. And he said, the way you treat your pastor is a representation of how you treat God. And I was like, halt, stop, time out. No, sir. No, sir. Now, I continue to listen to it. And so where this title comes from, Pastor versus False Gods, he wasn't talking about false gods. He was just specifically telling the story. And so I relate false god to burning of sage, because that was what was being said in a previous or even somebody else's sermon. Sage, burning of sage, this thing right here, comes from the earth. Burning of sage and wearing crystals was being a false god. And I was like, and so just listening to this had nothing to do with, I was just getting some word that day. And when he said treating the pastor, the treatment of the pastor is how you represent God, I was just like, there's the fluff, there's the performance, there's the, and so I was like, okay, bet, got the story. So finished the sermon, and the story of the continuation of the story is God sent snakes into the desert that were biting the people that were complaining. And I interpret that as, since y'all being ungrateful, I know how to get y'all together. You know what I'm saying? And so let me send some snakes out here and, you know, kill, because that was what was happening. The people were dying. And then of course they went to Moses and they was like, well, what we gon' man, what's man, dude just got bit and died. Like, so we finna, all us finna down here. And basically God went back to Moses. Moses went back to God and was like, man, come on now. Like, you can't do, please don't do this, Father. And um and so God told Moses to build a bronze snake. You know where I'm going with this, right? God, in the Bible, it says, God told Moses to build a bronze snake, put it on a pole, and have people look up at it. And when they look up at this bronze snake, they will be healed. Yeah. What that sound like? I gave you a minute because I wanted to know, what does that sound like? I have to get my area together. Build a bronze snake, put it on a pole, and have the people look up to it. And the people that look up at it will be healed. So 3 sermons back, you was talking about sage and crystals were false gods. But then God said, this, you probably forgot what you said on that sermon because you be doing sermons, you know what I'm saying? You got 3 services a Sunday and you be doing sermons, you know what I'm saying? So you probably forgot Pastor. So sage and crystals is a fake god. Because I be in here thinking that the crystal is God. No. The crystal was produced by the Father. Same Father that created this crystal, rose quartz by the way, created me. No, not a false god. I don't think this crystal is God. The same type of crystals that was in, the armor of God, Same, that's what I'm saying. Verses. It's in a verse. That stones and crystals was in the armor of God. But I can't. Please. You, a part of the congregation, don't be out there rubbing no rocks, thinking you doing something. Fluff. Distraction. Performer. Yeah. So, build a bronze snake, put it on the pole. How do people look at it? What God said. So, I'm getting to my point. I just had to reiterate it over and over. I be rambling. That's my tagline. That's what I mean by God don't care what you use. Look up at this look up at this bronze snake. Just look at it. And know that the instructions came from me. Believe that you will be healed. That's it. That's it. You have to, in all that you do, anything that you do, anything that you have done, in all things, believe. That's it. I feel sorry for people who say they don't believe in God. Because believing is one step closer. Believe. Then when you finally believe with all your heart, mind, and spirit, you can manifest. That's how you manifest. That's how you can do anything. That's how you never want for anything. Believe. And praise, please. I'm going to ask you. Praise the Father. In your time of trouble, when you going through, when it's looking down, when it's looking bleak, no matter what you've done, no matter what you get up from this video and go do, the Father don't care nothing about that. Nothing. Because, remember what I said, whatever you put out, you will receive back. So you're going to govern your own steps. Every time people talk about the 10 Commandments to me, it pisses me off. You know why? Because after Moses, may I? Came the two greatest commandments. Give me a moment. Where it says, the first great commandment, the first and great commandment, and the second is like unto it. Love the Lord thy God and with all thy heart, with all thy soul, and with all thy mind. And the second one is like unto it. Love thy neighbor and thyself. On these two. You see that? 1, 2. On these two commandments hang all of the law and the prophets. So, don't talk to me about none of what the 10 Commandments is talking about. That's love God with all your heart, mind, and soul, and love yourself and your neighbor. So, should you do the 10 Commandments? Should you go out and say, bump the 10 Commandments? Well, Jesus said, hang all the laws on those two. So you want to go commit adultery? Do that. But guess what? You just hurt your neighbor, your wife, your mistress. You hurt somebody. You're playing with people's feelings. You shouldn't do that. Should you go out and kill somebody? Well, if you kill them, you don't love them. So stop it with all this other stuff. Trying to stay in that part where you can guilt somebody into believing you. Because it's not about believing God when you talk like that. God is not pleased with you, girl. You know you weren't supposed to do that. You weren't here last Sunday. And why do they want you there every Sunday anyway? Why? So you keep coming up in there? I'm going to stop saying this because I feel repetitive, but I'm just saying, once you realize the distraction, the fluff, and the performance, honey, once you get with that book by yourself, once you get with yourself to yourself, you will stop it. I'm not saying look no way at your pastor. I don't have a pastor. I haven't had a pastor in a very long time. I'm saying get with God. Just you and him. And start speaking positivity over your life. Be happy. Laugh. Love. Enjoy. I'm gonna get further into, setting boundaries for yourself and telling people no and all that. I'm gonna get to all that. This is a platform and I came to impact, baby. Okay? To impact the people that either have been going to church and ain't getting nothing, or the people who ain't stepped foot in there and want to know how to connect with the Father, how to connect with your divine right, how to connect with the will, how to get your inheritance, how to enter the kingdom. It ain't got nothing to do. I'm saying this because I've done everything that I wanted to do my entire life. Everybody got to do what the parents say between up until 18. At 18, mama was footloose, fancy free, did my thing, and still am. And guess what? Mm, mm. The power of the living God is all over me. God has shown up in my life. I be shocked. Like, because Christian, with me not even going to church, Christians have made me feel like he ain't gonna be able to get to him because you out here, you sinning. And in my sin, I broke through. Yep. So I'm gonna end this because I get a little radical when I think about this, honey. I do. It's a touchy subject for me because I know what people have made you feel. I know how even that little inkling, how I was like, girl, I don't care, girl, get out my face. Like, I would literally be like, girl, I don't care. Oh, well, he just gonna have to forgive me. It's my favorite phrase. But that's the thing, is like, that's all God wanted was for me to believe, and I believed in him. I believed in it. I believed in source. I believed in something greater than myself. The whole time, I knew that I didn't have to do none of that. I knew that I didn't have to hold myself. It's women, it's a woman I know. I'm not about to say that. But I knew that these things that you doing in the name of the Father is incorrect. It's incorrect. And then I look at them and I watch how they judge. Just a look in their face. They don't even have to say nothing. Religious people don't even have to say nothing. Like you my mama. Like you my father. And you know me. And if you don't, I'm going to show you. I flounce right in their face. I don't care nothing about what you think, baby. Because the favor is on me. It's on me. Can't you see it? Don't you see my light? It gotta be. So, like I said, my people, please, I implore you, get to know God for yourself. Get off to yourself. Spend some time with him by yourself. And please, I have to tell you, I gotta tell you this. There's only one way to praise him. Is spirit and in truth. In spirit and in truth. You gotta be truthful. Because you can't hide it. You have to be. That's the only way you break through. Is you keep it real with yourself. It ain't even about keeping it real with the Father. He know. Please keep it real with yourself. I will never forget. I said, if I'm going to hell for that, I've said that to a friend. Because I knew. I've been knew that a force that creates worlds is thinking about something that I've done, a minuscule thing in the earth realm. I ain't hurt nobody. I ain't killed nobody. I ain't slapped nobody, mama, in a while. Please stop letting people tell you how to worship. Please stop telling people he ain't gonna accept you. Or shall I say, please stop letting people tell you how to worship. Please stop letting people tell you what the Father is, what God is, who God is. Please. Now, I don't know if the masses know, or when you watch this or you watched it on a replay or whatever, but it's mid-Saturday. And it's springtime and the sun's shining. So I'm about to put on my little dress. I just got up here to get y'all together today. Y'all know how I end my videos. So, you. Yeah, you.